I got the bacon wrapped cheese stuffed date, got the first one, a little toothpick. That's me, a year ago. It was mid-pandemic. I was in a job I absolutely despised, working for and with a team I didn't get along with, and I was pretty unhappy. That was also the time I weighed 40 pounds, more than I do today. It's Monday, October 4th. I'm Kendall, and this is Kendall Writes a Story. The most I've ever weighed in my entire life was 228 pounds. Currently, I sit at 188 pounds, the lightest I've been in over 5 years. Actually, the lightest I've been since moving to the West Coast in June 2016, when Barack Obama was president. In the last 8 months, my partner and I have changed our lifestyle pretty drastically. We went from getting delivered takeout 3 to 5 times a week to eating out 1 to 2 times a month. We store and prepare our foods now, having stocked a freezer and a pantry full of the vegetables that we've spent this summer harvesting and preserving ourselves. So a lot of things have changed. But that doesn't mean we've changed what we eat, just how we eat. We still eat cheesy hamburger helper style foods, greasy pizza, etc. We just, and this is key, don't crave these foods in the amounts we used to. And that I attribute 100% to a decision we made this past April, leaving our high-stress, salary jobs and focusing on ourselves. In our former roles, we both worked in the Silicon Valley tech space. These roles were absolutely the exciting, career-changing, top-of-the-world environments that you see on TV, complete with free meals and all the wonderful perks. But their demanding pace also robbed us of two things that would become critical in our health transformations. One, time, and two, calmness. While this video is not going to be the great American expose on Silicon Valley, I saw many negatives during my time in multiple companies, including an overglorification of self-damage that comes in the form of bragging about lack of sleep, bragging about how much stress and how exhausted you are. Our brains are meant to handle one thing at a time. When they start to get overwhelmed, they start to do lots of things terribly. For example, when we're juiced up on fear, our bodies will deprioritize digestion and prioritize hormone production. So when you're constantly anxious or stressed, this starts to have chronic effects. When you're in these high-stress environments that see 3 a.m. emails, or as in my case at one company I worked at, executives threatening to fire an entire team and laughing at the thought of the look on their faces, it's frightening. Even though you're out of the office by 5 or 6 p.m., your brain is not. And it certainly doesn't want to think about what vegetable to make for dinner or what food to stop and get at the grocery store and then have to drive home and cook. So you just do what's easiest for your brain. You pull into the nearest Mickey D's and save yourself the turmoil of another stressor in your life. You make an easy decision.
Yeah, I'd like 6,000 chicken fajitas, please.
I beg your pardon?
6,000 chicken fajitas.
And a sausage McBiscuit, please.
And when that stress builds up and starts depressing you, your brain craves serotonin, a mood stabilizer. Serotonin comes from carby foods and likewise increases your cravings. Additionally, depressed folks, which I have been one of many times, often seek jolts of energy that come with caffeine, or you guessed it, sugar rushes from candy and sweets. It's a thing. I've had therapists tell me this, right? Like we often, and my doctor, we crave sweets because we're looking for that jolt to sort of push us out of the doldrums. So when we say we eat our feelings, we are literally describing self-medication through sugary foods, either to give us a jolt out of that depression or to release serotonin. So back to my life, once we left our jobs, those cravings went down precipitously. Now, Kendall, you're most likely saying, are you totally forgetting the fact that you had all the time in the world, allowing you to eat healthily and cook, and a limited budget, which forced you to eat healthy and cook? Not forgetting those things at all. To which I say we absolutely had those things. But we also had those things before we left our jobs. I worked from home for 14 months before I left my job. My partner worked from home 50% of the time for those same 14 months before he left his job. Despite having all that spare time at home to throw a roast in a crock pot or can some pickles during a conference call, we didn't take advantage of any of it. Why? Because our minds were full. Well, that and you were making good money, so you didn't need to save. you're probably thinking, right? You didn't need to save money, you just had all this extra. To which I say, no. Remember, we'd been planning to move for a while, so we were constantly had pressures to squirrel away as much money as we could. Yet the cravings and exhaustion took over, and we still made the terrible and lazy decisions to get that easy delivery food. Also, our food routinely comes in about 50% under what we budgeted now, right? So it's not the budget's driving us. We're actually surprised every month. We're like, oh my God, we didn't spend any money on food, right? We just went out to the farms and bought it and it was super cheap. So it's not the budget's driving us. It's something else. It's that lack of stress. But life is stressful. You can't eliminate stress completely. I can hear that. I can actually hear it from my parents because I imagine they would say that. And I mean that in a very lovingly way. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. You cannot eliminate stress. To confirm this, remember we executed an interstate move to a new place we had never been before. The stress of uprooting your entire life on a budget to move to a place with no friends, no background or expectations, no job, and for me, embarking on a new career which requires new skills and learning and the constant everyday stressors that you're never gonna get this, I can personally attest that this has been pretty stressful. But the difference has been, it's been my stress, for my goals, in my life. Before, they were focused on whether my boss had enough coffee that morning or whether she believed her yearly bonus was in danger. My stressors were coming from places I had no control over back then, and therefore no way to end them. So they continued, past quitting time into the weekend, nagging on my brain, keeping me up, preventing me from finding things that make me happy or eating food that makes me happy and healthy. So I'm not in any way saying this is typical or repeatable, and I'm certainly not suggesting folks go out and flippantly change their lives, this way. This move and career change was years in the making with lots of thought and foreplanning. But the science of mental health is crystal clear. The more stressed we are, the more our bodies and our minds suffer. That's just real. And the sociology is becoming more clear every day, that current work conditions, specifically those for large corporations and with high demand roles, are taking a toll on our mental and physical health, most likely due to the added stress. They're putting us in these rat race conditions where we choose high cost convenience at the expense of our well-being. I want to close by saying that this entire experiment of us leaving our jobs and moving up here and trying a new career all comes from a place of incredibly strong privilege. I am incredibly lucky to have had the opportunity to gain an education and work experience that would allow me to work in these industries. Not everyone gets that, and honestly, most of us that do have the same skin color and gender that I do. I get that. But that's why I want to share and document this journey. Because those of us that benefit from privilege have a duty to advocate for those that don't. It is our duty. Those that can't leave their stressful jobs because they're low paying or they don't have a strong background or a strong resume or they're just beginning their careers, that see no end to the mind-numbing anxiety and depression, those are the folks that I want to bring a little awareness to. If you have questions or comments, if this seems odd to you, that's okay. Please don't hesitate to let me know. I would love to engage in open conversations about this and my journey in general. For next century, I will share updates on the conflagration, rewrite, and a few other projects I'm lining up. So it'll be about the writing. But do expect more of these entries to go back and forth between the writing side and the journey side that is taking me to the writing. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a great week, and hope everybody takes care. Bye.